Yeah.
I knew you would
Enough.
know.
Enough. Yeah. We already have produced enough for the next six generations, and we'll keep doing that. You heard the news and Europe has banned the fast fashion.
Yes,
Saw that?
I saw that, which is amazing. And they said they're going to start punishing influencers for sharing
Yeah, yeah,
ultra. I'm so curious to see how that's going to play out, but that it needs to happen. Like fast fashion, it's destroying the planet. It's messy. When you go, even the thrift stores, it's messing up the thrift stores now. So when I was thrifting back in like 2012, when I was blogging about thrifting, you could get really, really, really great pieces. Now it's a lot of fast fashion pieces ending up in the thrift store that are already they're like broken down by the time they get to the thrift store. So it's really sad to see how the thrift stores have changed. Um,
right.
the quality, you can still find quality pieces, but it's a ton of fast fashion stuff that's like wasn't made well.
Exactly. No, wow, that is wonderful. Actually, I have a quick question regarding thrifting. So I'm kind of confused in this too. So if a person, I always say that everything that you need is already exists in your wardrobe. You don't have to buy anything from outside, which is true.
Yeah.
I say most of more than I would say 93% or almost 95% of them already have everything that you need in the in that. If you don't need a new dress for the Vegas, like they promoted. So if a person still need if she or he feels like they go to the thrift store and buy a new one, do we consider that overconsumption too for a person like me who always do thrifting too? Doesn't
Mm.
buy new clothes, but do thrifting. What are your thoughts about this? I mean,
That is a great question.
yeah, I think about it, but I don't see and I mean I didn't find any answer on myself. What do you think about this?
So my thoughts as okay, I was always a shopaholic, right? I would go to the mall every single Sunday with my friends. I'd be there from open to close. I would be shopping every like in high school, I was always at the mall,
Mm.
right? So then they opened the thrift store down the street from my house. I was like, "Ooh, my dollar goes a longer way at the thrift store by my house." So I was taking those same habits, but now I was thrifting and now I can afford to buy way more clothes.
Or
So
more clothes.
I was over-consuming at the mall. Now
Yeah,
I'm over-consuming at the thrift store, and the problem with, like I was doing YouTube, right? And YouTube back then, haul videos were the most important video to shoot, right? Like, that was the video that was getting
I
all
remember that time. Yeah.
it's still like that a little bit. Um, so I would film thrift hauls, and I was like, "Okay, I need a new video. I need to go to the thrift store." So I was buying all of this stuff. I went to the Goodwill Clearance Center by my house, 50 pounds of clothes for $10. I would go there every single month. 50 pounds. What do I need 50 pounds of clothes for? That's like a whole cart, an overflowing cart's worth of clothes. Like,
Wow.
but I'm thrifting,
It
right?
was
So
in
it's like,
Vegas? It was in Vegas?
it was in Vegas. I think it's still here. It's called the Goodwill Clearance Center. They have them all around. Um, but yeah, so I was still over consuming, and then one day it clicked. I looked in my closet. I was like, "Okay, am I just doing this for content?" That was back too when like people didn't want to wear the same outfit on Instagram. Every social media plays a lot of roles in like this overconsumption. But I
Yeah.
was I looked in my closet because like I was like, okay, some of these pieces I just bought because they were like 10 cents. Or I bought these pieces because they're cheap, but like I was still learning my style because I was like young in college. And I
Yeah.
was like, I cannot take these pieces back to the thrift store. These
Right.
pieces I'm not going to wear. They still have the thrift tag on it. Like, why did I buy all this stuff? So I actually was like, how do I do this where like I need to scale back. This is this is still overconsumption and this is insane because now it's like it's just insane. So I started hosting clothing swaps. I was like, I cannot give this back to the thrift store where I got it from. I'm going to start hosting clothing swaps. So I would host community clothing swaps in Vegas. And literally, like my mom went to thrifting with me all the time. We supplied all the clothes for the clothing swap. Like the whole, we would have racks that we bought and stuff, and we would set up like a store kind of shopping experience like all the clothes, like 80% of the clothes were all me and my mom's. And then people
Wow.
would bring their own clothes and they would swap. But the thing I liked about clothing swaps is
Mhm.
that you were not you could see someone fall in love with the item, and they would take it home, and then I would host clothing swaps every season, and sometimes the items that would be there in spring would be brought back in winter, and then someone else would fall in love with that item. Like, so you would really see, like, someone's ending up with these items
Right.
because just sending it back to the thrift store. I did a video showing, like, the behind the scenes of a thrift store, like, the back room of a thrift store. A lot
Mhm.
of items never even hit the floor. A lot of the items end up in landfill. A lot of the items get shipped to different countries that don't want the items. Like, there's so many issues with the donation process. Like, people think when they donate an item, it goes to someone in need, and that's not really the model for any thrift stores that I know of. They might buy items from organizations who they'll then, pay them to get the items, and then that's how they help the people in need, like, by giving them money to get the items, but, like, the clothing doesn't go to people
Right.
in need. So, that's a whole rant about, yeah, you can overconsume about thrifting. That's my whole point.
No, I'm very glad you agree with my point, but that was a thing that I was actually thinking. We always say, "Oh, don't buy a new one. Go to the thrift store if you need something." I mean, first of all, you already have it, but go to the thrift store if you need. But still, if we keep buying clothes from the thrift store, it's still kind of a overconsumption. So
Yeah.
I think
But
so.
then I think if you don't buy I think everyone needs to be mindful, but then I'm like, if you don't buy the clothes, it's gonna end up in landfill, right? So,
It's kind of loophole,
yeah.
it's kind of thing where you just have to be a little bit cautious. You can buy, of course, because it's not a new one. You're just repurposing. There's a thing, the biggest thing about the thrifting, but just be mindful to, or if you have it, the best thing you could do is a code swapping that you explained very well.